I wanted to ask you a quick question. Growing up, I remember when I was younger, I used to do it more. Every time I was really happy that I did something. I got a good, maybe let's say in like grade 1 or 2, I got a good grade, or I won an award in something, and I would come up to you and I would say, hey, like, look what I did. And then instead of saying like bravo in Arabic, or saying, oh, congratulations, you would say you should be proud of yourself. So can you explain why you did that?
I remember that more from. I don't remember you ever coming in with like a grade that you were
Yeah.
proud of, or that you really cared much. Although you always were a good student, you knew how to work the system. But it was where I remember that more was scoring a goal
Mm,
in soccer, or
yeah.
and this was back then, even back then, before I went so deep into education, and specifically early childhood education. Just from my own personal observations and my extensive reading, I knew this and was wary of this connection between um, projecting my own uh, ambitions onto my children, right? So I was, as much as possible, trying to stay aware of that and keep that out of it. So what did that mean? I love soccer, as you know. I continue to play today. When you guys were young, I mean, I was playing 3 times a week in those days. I love tennis as well. I grew up playing tennis, and I was very aware of not trying to push any particular sport. And what that meant was, when, you know, I think you guys expressed to your mom, from watching me play tennis when we were living in South Africa, that you wanted to play. And I remember feeling really happy. But because I was conscious of and careful about pushing something that I wanted onto you guys, I could pay attention to the source of that. What was that? That was, this is me. This is from inside of me. It's not about you guys. And so I would purposefully not overdo it, or I would try to keep that out of it, basically. And it ended up that the two of you, played tennis and then lost interest. And because I wasn't attached, I was trying not to be attached, and at the very least trying not to let it affect my actions. I let it go. And later on, as teenagers, I think it was Faye who restarted. You guys picked up tennis, and it became then a habit for life, right? And it's great. So it happened to be a sport that you guys picked up. Um, it would have been very different if I was the one sort of pushing it, and then it became about making me happy, and getting all of that confused with something that is already quite complicated. Your relationship with the sport, and are you enjoying it or not enjoying it, and then I have to make dad happy or he'll be disappointed. I just didn't want that for you guys. I wanted to keep it, let's say, as clean, so-called clean, as possible, and really keep it about your experience. So when you scored a goal, and of course, just like the other parents there was this surge of pride and happiness, and my son did this or that. But I also was conscious of, obviously there's a bias, like, you're my son, so that particular happiness is a biased view of a parent. And I did not want you to play for me. I because of the journey I went through trying to figure out what I wanted, and as we spoke about in the last podcast, it wasn't easy because I was pushing all of that down in order to focus on academics, on what's important, and I had to go through that journey of reconnecting. I was very conscious to try and minimize that for you guys, and in general in education, that's something that is a core principle at the school. Why do we focus on autonomy? All kids naturally, we have a desire to be free and independent, and make decisions and roam around and have freedom to choose and freedom to live in our own way. If it's suppressed at a young age, it causes issues later on. So I would then pay attention to that and say, this is the pride of a father, and this should be my experience, and how I would find ways to interact with you in those moments was, he's happy, and I'd like him to connect that happiness to his own work. So you played that shot, it really worked this time. And so what do you think worked? What was it about the build up to this goal? It's more interesting. You're actually learning about, what worked, what didn't work, but you're relating it to you and what you did and what your teammates did. And you're relating it to your hard work and your skill and your practice got you that result or didn't get you that result. Right. And that's much more scientific than like you're making me happy and now you're scoring goals to make me happy, type of thing. That I know where that journey goes, right? That's the journey of not being connected with what makes you happy. And so, that's I was quite obviously I must have missed certain things, and I didn't know, and I'm still learning today. But that was one that I was quite aware of. And I remember your sister got really good grades, and like I said, on the grades specifically, I was very very cautious to, it's already a bigger deal than it should be, I think, in schools, and I didn't want to add to that. And so she got really good grades in her APs and very proudly came, and as I said before, I'm preparing you guys for, I know this is very exciting, but believe me, in a few years' time, no one's going to care. And so I'd rather you guys not get the shock. I don't want to build up this cliff to a higher point that you fall off. You're going to fall off it anyway. So, I got, straight A's or 5s on the APs. And I said, again, okay, what's the formula? Right. Wow, great. Like, your hard work, you're paid off. And she got upset, she said, you never say bravo. And it was an opportunity to explain to her. And I said, what, are you getting the grades for me? Or are you getting them for yourself? And so I'm doing it on purpose because you shouldn't be doing them for me. And by the way, you're excited about the grades. I think you should be excited about the fact that you're able to work hard towards something. This particular goal has an expiry date, which is the end of university. And hopefully you can take that skill of when you put your mind to something, you work hard, it gets you a result. So that's really what we should be focusing on, rather than the grades as some sort of destination.